Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart podcast. You are listening to our very first episode ever for
Wow.
this podcast. So it feels very surreal
Mm-hmm.
to be recording our first ever
Mm.
Heart podcast.
That's right. Thank you for tuning in. We have so many topics to talk about. I wonder what you want to talk about to begin with.
First of all, I have always wanted to talk about a lot of things, but I think the main thing
Yes.
would be dating. I think
Mm.
that's the topic that a lot of our young people, especially like me, we need to hear that. We need to hear the truth
Mm.
about dating
Mm.
specifically. So um, hopefully we can explain and dive in and also guide our listeners for
Okay.
this episode.
Okay. Dating it is.
Mm.
You know, that's what I've been trying to teach lately as well. Because um, when we talk about, the gospel, or when we talk about, overcoming this or that. People are like, okay, yeah, I want to hear about this. But when we say dating, everyone's like, whoa, what is that? So the class is usually full. People are very attentive. And,
Mm-hmm.
not only that, it's also always fun to talk about dating. Every time I talk about dating, I feel young again.
Reminds you of your youth.
Youth, that's right. I think that's the only time you got your date. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. Every time we have our youth camp or anything, every time our speaker talked about dating, the topic dating itself, everyone just tuned in and leaned
Hmm.
into whatever that
Like,
person is
even if
saying.
they talk about salvation or obedience or whatever, and then the speaker somehow bring in like about his wife or his ex or something like that,
Uh-huh.
everyone's like, whoa, and
Oh.
then they're like awake. So I think in a way, because that is always on our heart, especially young people, right?
Mm.
That's always in their hearts about who they like, the crush that they have. So I think it's very relevant.
I think is very relevant. Not only that, because I believe that we are made to do life together
Yeah,
with people,
relationships.
relationships.
The relationships are not bad.
Mm-hmm.
We
It's
just
not a
have
bad thing.
we just have relationship with bad people sometimes.
Bad people,
Yep.
traumas, and all those things. So I think to ask the question, I think it is
Mm.
appropriate to ask the question and also talked about what is the purpose of dating. Maybe we can dive deep into what is dating at first. Like, what is dating? Is dating around here, or is
Mm.
is dating is dating in the Bible, or did
Mm.
God talk about dating at all?
Mm. Yeah, I don't think we see the word dating in the Bible. Even dating kind of basically mean going on dates,
Mm,
to know each other, to fill out your dates, that kind of thing.
mm,
You see, um, your boyfriend or girlfriend, and to fill out your dates, that kind of connotation. So which we don't have in the Bible. The closest one, probably the first one that we see in Genesis, would be like Abraham sending out his servant to find a suitable wife for Isaac. He went out
at the
of town.
well.
At the well, a lot of things happen. Um, that's where all the good women were,
Mm-hmm.
working and um, doing things in the evening. So I think that's where he found her, and then it's just like, hey, you know what? I think you are really, really good for my master. So
Mm.
so then he asked her parents, and then her parents got give the approval, and then they just brought her back. It's crazy to read it as a modern audience. To like, whoa, like just like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like they don't even know each other. They like don't even go to dates. Like how? What if they don't like each other? We always think about that. But even the concept of dating is only in the Western society maybe about 120 years, ago, like 1900s. Um, Before that, there was no such thing. It was more about arranged marriage, or
Mm-hmm.
two families that know each other, kind of like, hey, you know what? My son look like he's good for your daughter. Oh,
Mm.
my daughter is good for him too. All right, let's go. That's it.
Yeah. Let's
And
have arranged marriage.
uh, Yeah.
Or I'm asking your daughter for my son.
Yep. Always families are involved too.
Yes.
Nowadays, with all
Mm,
the relationship, we want parents or family to get less and less involved. I
that
think
is
that's a
true.
big problem now too, because
Yeah.
relationships don't flourish in isolation. You know, it
Yes.
come together with community. It come together with other
Mm-hmm.
groups of people. So I think we're trying to have that relationship flourish in private and isolation and Western society overall. I don't think we're doing well. But Eastern culture wise, I think people are doing better at that sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's also because they are doing life together in a community,
Mm-hmm.
not just in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about the purpose of dating, I always say this, that the purpose of dating is to find if someone is a suitable spouse for you or not.
Mm.
It is a testing period,
Mm.
but not for a very long time. I don't think it should take you 7 or 10 years to know if someone is um, good, someone has good character, good moral, knows God and love God. It does not need to take you 7 or 10 years to figure that out. So I believe that it is a period where you are very intentional
Yeah.
about it, and you look for the right characters, the
Mm-hmm.
right thing during those times. So the purpose of dating is, the
Mm.
ultimate goal is to get married. What do you
Yeah.
think about that? Do you think it is too like scary for a lot of girls or guys? What's your view on that?
I think it's good,
Mm-hmm.
but I do also think that that's not the reason why a lot of people date.
Mm,
We That's the ideal. I would say that's
right.
the ideal. Although we don't have the dating word in the Bible,
Mm,
we have some sort of principles.
mm,
Looking for suitable one like Ruth. Meeting with Boaz. With the help of Naomi. Like
mm.
he's like, oh, you should do this way, and then you get to his heart, kind of thing. So we see that in the Bible, but sometimes Samson will be like, yo, I want that woman. Mom, dad, get her for me.
She's pretty.
Yeah, that's it. Like everything that he see with his eyes, he's like, I want that. That kind of mindset too, in a bad
Mm-hmm.
way, but a good way would be, suitable, really thinking with wisdom, talking about your family,
Mm-hmm.
friends, relatives, and then see where it should go.
Mm-hmm.
But what you say is right. At the same time, the culture, I don't think we see dating, the purpose of dating us that way. What are
Yeah.
some ways that you think why people date? What do you think that people started dating or looking for someone else, maybe when they're middle school, high
Mm.
school, even college?
I think a lot of times when I look back, when I was 18 or high school or middle school, actually, I never went to middle school here. I started from
True.
high school. So I think the reason that a lot of people wants to date in such a young age is
Mm-hmm.
because they are um, looking for like a space that no human can ever, I would say,
Fill
fulfill.
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fulfill, because only God can.
Mm-hmm.
And when you date in such a young age, you can get addicted to being in a relationship. It
Like
is
having
so
someone all the
dangerous.
time.
Yes, having someone all the time. And also, I believe that some people date just because they don't have their prom date or their middle school dance date,
Yeah.
and those things. I believe that those are such a waste of time and emotional. And because in dating, a lot of things are involved, like you're
Yeah.
emotionally involved, and all of those boundaries that you should not cross. And it is for our own protection. So those things, I think that's one of the reasons a lot of young people date. It is because they are looking for someone
Mm-hmm.
to fulfill the hole in their hearts that only God can fulfill.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Yeah. Um, I think that's basically summarize it.
mm-hmm,
Uh, Usually, why would anyone date? Although how much drama, how much pain, how much money it costs, how much time you have to spend. Dating is fun until it's not.
yeah,
When you are having fun and talking about how you're gonna meet up and stuff like that, it's fun. But when you like somebody accuse you like, why are you talking to her? You know, why don't you talk to why are you talking to him? Why do you have so many guy friends? Like, you know, that kind of nagging questions coming out, like it's not fun anymore.
Right.
And then you get sad, you get mad, and then now you cannot study anymore. You have exam tomorrow. You have job interview the next day, and now you don't want to even get out of bed anymore. All why? Because you date to have fun. You date to have somebody feel the hole in your heart, and but then yet you feel like they're never enough, and they're never enough. And especially dating wise, there's no real commitment. There's commitment, but you're not entitled in some way. So there's a commitment until somebody wanna leave you. Somebody say, let's break up. It's so different than marriage, because marriage, like, you're in it, you know. There's that commitment. There's that that like deep covenant between you and your wife or your husband. So, but dating wise, you always have to try. Sometimes you feel like you're never enough, but sometimes you feel like the other person is never enough. And
that is true.
that makes it so hard.
Yeah, it makes you insecure, especially for girls. I'm sure for boys as well. They when you date a lot, when you are so much younger, you become very insecure, especially after first heartbreak or those things, because you feel like you are not good enough for someone, which is absolutely incorrect. The Bible says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that God created us uniquely, and that our worth is not on someone's I would say love, because that's not agape love. So I think that is really true. One thing I also want to talk about is you said that whenever you go for like camp and all those things, a lot of young people wants to hear and also lean into the topics that you're talking about, especially topics like dating. I think it is also because a lot of our local churches or even our parents, it's kind of weird to talk about dating, especially in Limey churches. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I agree.
It's so awkward. And when you are in like middle school, high school, your parents tell you not to date, and then when you are in your mid-20s, they're like, why are you not getting married? They ask you, but they never prepare you and talk to you about who to look for, what type of what is a Christian dating, all of those things, and they just expect you when you're in your mid-20s, where it's too late.
Like, oh man, this is tough life, and they don't want to talk about it until they see is that a problem. They're like, whoa, like I'm now worried. Like, well, before you were worried, you really did not talk about, relationship with me. Now you want to talk about it, and they're like, because like you couldn't find yourself. Like, well, you kind of never taught me how, or you never tell me who to look for. And then even if you were to have somebody, they're kind of like, that's bad, for me, friendships and relationships are not a bad thing.
No,
we just find bad friends. We sometimes find bad boyfriend and bad girlfriend.
And trauma.
Yeah. I like how you keep putting that trauma in there every time we talk about bad boyfriend. Is there something that we should talk about?
Trust me,
I don't understand.
God has protected me, but I've seen some trauma.
Just like trauma. I think trauma should be another episode.
Yes.
So one thing I'm like thinking about it right now as you talk about it. Maybe they don't really fully understand why the purpose, why people date and such, because they come from a different country. Where there's no such thing, more of maybe my parents were not arranged married, but I think they were married because family know each other. And probably your parents, I can't really speak for your parents, but
oh man, my parents, we have a whole story.
Okay. Our parents' stories are kind of like really complicated than they make it seem to be. They really don't want to tell you.
It is like very unique.
Yep. So I think in a way, even with dating, even with things about sex or drugs or things like that. I guess we're not going to parenting right now, but I feel like sometimes they only talk about it when it become a problem. So that's when we have this heart-to-heart conversation, because I think what they say is it's easier for us to do prevention than do intervention later. Because once it's a problem, it's so hard to get back on that. So that's when we're talking about relationship. That's when we're talking about dating, and that we want to do it well. We want to do it in God honoring way.
Right.
We want to do take some principles from the Bible and apply into our own life.
Absolutely true. And now that we talked about what's the purpose of dating, I think we've made the answer clear, right? What's the purpose of dating?
Marriage.
For marriage, it's
You know-
like if you're dating someone right now and you can't see yourself marrying them one day in the next few years or in the future, then you should not be dating. You should not be dating. That means you're
Can you say it louder?
we gotta say it louder. Maybe you're just dating for fun. If you're dating for fun, then go find a hobby, right? We should find hobbies. Play tennis. Maybe photography
Do makeup
or
tutorial.
makeup tutorials. Those
No.
things. There. Maybe help your parents out. Stop looking at your phone and play games all the time.
Okay.
I think-
Okay. What if they stop looking?
I'm so sorry.
What if they stop watching now? And they're like, "Ah."
No, I think in anything you can play your games and do whatever you want, but anything and overdoing things is not healthy.
Yeah. And dating is complicated, especially because it's kind of like a very private thing. And, I can understand playing games, hobbies, sport. Yeah, they get to your heart, but not as much as like, giving your heart to someone else.
Yeah.
So I think there's much more bigger consequences. Not only that, you might not be hurt too much from the breakup or whatever, but the other person, it might be very bad for them. So I think we gotta think about those different factors as well.
Yeah.
I think when you were saying about purpose of dating, I think I would say this: dating could only end in two way, right? Dating can only end in two way. One in a breakup or in marriage. Yeah, marriage will end all the dating, and you can date even more better in marriage.
Yeah.
Or it will be a breakup after 3 years, a breakup after a month, or a breakup after 5 years. Down the line, you never know. And like, I'm so glad I'm married. I'm sorry that you're still like you're not married yet. I mean, good for you. Singleness is a gift.
Yes.
Yes.
Singleness.
It's a
That's
gift.
good. That's a good topic that we can talk about later too.
Yeah. Well, we have too many ideas, too many episodes. What was I saying? No, I forget.
Singleness is a gift, and that.
Yeah, in marriage, is that you are in that covenant commitment before God, before people, and even if, you do make mistake. There are things that my wife might not like about me, but there's such thing as commitment, But with dating, you're never sure.
Yeah.
You're never sure. You always have to try and try. And I realize how tiresome that might be for some people.
Yeah.
So like dating for way too long, like I thought about it as we was talking about.
Yes.
If you cannot, like, if you are taking a test, let's just say ACT or SAT, and you just cannot get like a score that's say 30, and you try that for 5 years, maybe you should not try it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Nobody want to take tests that long because tests are not supposed to be like that. In a way, if you've been trying, and you realize that this is not working out even after a year, you should let go of that relationship and pursue something else better.
Yeah.
I feel like we're wasting our time.
That's true. And I think that when we don't know the purpose of dating, we date without being ready, or when we date, we don't even know what we're looking for, and we're just trying to figure out. I believe that that's such a dangerous game to play, because if you play with fire, it will burn you. And dating is just like that. It is so, it can, I love that you said it can end up in two ways. It is either marriage or heartbreak. There's no in between.
Nope.
No in between, especially for believers, especially for Christ followers.
Yeah. I don't think you'll ever become best friends after breakup.
No, honestly.
People try. People say.
Try. No. Yeah. So now that we talk about it, I have questions on. I'm sure that our viewers would ask, like, how do I know what to look for? Like, what should I look for if I want to date somebody? What should they look for? How? Right? I think that's a good question.
Yeah. I feel like for me, the first thing that is that you kind of have to be physically attractive to them. Attractiveness gotta be somewhere there.
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't have to be like
all the way there.
Yeah.
Because attractiveness, looks can be deceiving, right? And attractiveness gotta be there. Somebody that you can kind of like vibe with and let. You see me. You see me.
Gen Z pastor.
I'm a Gen Z.
You gotta vibe with them first.
Gotta vibe with them.
Attractiveness.
Yes, attractiveness is gotta be there. But I think more than that, somebody with good character, somebody who is real with other people. Some people are like so like chameleon, you know, they change back with other groups. They're like different, their group different, their church different, their home different, you know, wherever they are, they're different. I think character is like that consistency. And then one bigger thing that I've been thinking about is about being responsible. Somebody who's responsible, meaning that I'm not saying that they will not make mistake, but even when they make mistake, they'll own up to it. They'll apologize. Because people who are not responsible, it's so hard to change them because they will always blame on other people. They will not take it into their own hand. And those people, you cannot change them. They will not change much or grow in any way. So I feel like that being responsible is something that we kind of have to, that's very tangible. We can kind of see right there. You know, everything that they do, how they lead, how they act, how they come to church or being at home, being with their friends, going to work, going to school. I think something that is like right there. What do you think about that?
I think those are such great facts. One of the reasons that whatever character flaws they have are things that are very hard to kind of tolerate, it will magnify it in marriage. I've heard from a lot of couples that, you know, we think that if you have any, you know, I would say habits or addictions that you have, you think that after marriage, you will quit doing the addictions, but it actually magnifies it. So that's one of the reason it is so important to look for the characters, those things. I love how JP Pokluda included it. He says that before you date, you have to know what you're looking for. It's like shopping. It's like grocery shopping. If you don't have a list of things that you want to buy and you go to grocery shopping, I'm sure you will either buy more than what you need and spend more than what you need, or you will not buy what you need. And you will come back with those two. Either those two. So you need to have a list on your, I think you said non-negotiables. I think those are really good. You have to have a list of things that you are looking for.
I think a checklist is good. I mean, even if they meet the checklist, it doesn't mean it will work out either.
Maybe some girls are like, oh, he has to be 6 feet tall. What do you think about that?
You can't have everything. What do they say? You cannot have your cake and eat it too. Have you heard that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
What? Say that again?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But people love saying that. It's just saying that you cannot have it both ways. You know, you cannot have everything you need or you want.
Yeah.
I think that's what it means. But yeah, they're like, well, he loved God. He can sing. He can. Um, he's really good at his job. He's very good son. Blah blah blah. And then they were like, but though he's 5'5". He's like, it's like the same height as me.
With
What if
my
I
high
wear a
heel.
heel?
Sunday with light till my high heels.
Yep. And I think, and then they're like, whoa, I can't.
Mm.
Or it's just like he's shorter than my brother. I can't have that. Just
Yeah.
make up your mind. I think sometimes we make it more complicated than it should be. Once you're married to the person, I feel like they become beautiful or handsome in your eyes, and it's for you. You don't care so much about what other people's dating though. You care, but marriage wise, they are yours and you are theirs. So it's not that important anymore.
Yeah.
But we make it big deals on the things that should not be big deals.
Mm-hmm.
But we make less of a big deal for things that are, you know, should be more important. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I just think you're right. We gotta have some sort of checklist.
Yes.
My wife will write down the groceries list for me. Go there, go to the aisle, and go walk down and buy one more, and then now you come back. And I'll always come back more than what I have in my list. And yeah, we always have a good conversation after work. But I would tell the young people that you cannot follow your heart. You gotta tell uh, you gotta tell your heart what to follow.
Yeah. Don't listen to Hollywood.
Yeah, no, Hollywood. Oh man, it's just for entertainment, man.
No.
That's not reality. And even reality shows are made up.
Yeah.
They're all scripted.
That's true.
Yeah, and we kind of over romanticize everything. We fantasize everything. Everything is La La Land. It's a good movie. But movies are movies, and it doesn't have to be all that great. That's not how real life is. Like we just in our like Delulu. Is that what people say now?
Delulu, yes.
Yep.
Delusional.
So what I'm trying to say is have checklists, non-negotiable, and go from there. At least start from there and see where God leads. See what your family will say. See what your friends will say. I think those matter, especially in Asian culture. We don't just marry the other person. We marry the whole family. We marry the whole village.
The whole village.
The whole, tribe.
The whole tribe. Yeah.
I think that's why, like, we really gotta be careful in picking the other person and choosing them. Yeah.
I think that's why it's also so important to date in community. You don't have to tell everyone what you're going through in your relationships, like what your boyfriend did to you and all that. But I think one good way to know if someone has a good character, just like you said, character or not, is ask people that knows him.
Yeah.
I believe that, especially if that person lives in a different state, it is so hard to know what type of person they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
definitely.
it's always good to ask people that are around them.
I agree. I agree. I would even say like always date in a group setting or something like that. Even let's just say for me, I think that a good age to date would be like 22. Maybe that's when you start to look for somebody, because you now maybe in terms of school, in terms of work, a little bit more stable. You now know what you want. You now know what you want to do with life. You now kind of have that checklist, and now you're kind of ready there. In terms of maturity, you're kind of there too. So I think that's a good time to kind of start looking for it. And even in then, you don't want to look for strangers that you have never met. People do say
no
this,
dating app.
Okay, well, some people really need it, but if you are in around the area, around the community, I don't think you need that. I think those apps kind of pop up as we kind of isolate ourselves more and more, and people don't have community. But praise God, as Chin people, as Asian, people. We are much more in the communal setting.
Yeah.
So which is really great, and I think that's where at 22 you start looking forward that checklist and see, and maybe date from the groups that you already know or kind of have met. I forgot what they say, but you do meet your future spouse by the time that you are 21, 22. You probably have met that person. Uh-huh. At one point somewhere,
At one point
yeah,
somewhere,
like
same
maybe when you were
location.
young or something like that, but like maybe through your middle school or high school, or or at workplace, or at a maybe at a wedding or at a funeral, or like some sort of places you probably have seen them.
So you believe that you don't have to search far away for your future spouse. There might be someone who you're serving at church with, someone from your Minnow group, choir practice, someone who is always consistent, showing up to church and always serving
Yeah, or maybe from your state.
your state.
If you're from Michigan, Michigan State,
Yeah.
or Illinois State kind
Illinois
of
State.
people. Sometimes it's kind of weird to date your own church member, church people.
Yes.
And it's so awkward when they break up.
Yes.
It's so awkward when they're holding hands in the, Bible study.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe when they're older, they now know how to act publicly, so it's okay. But when they're younger and they start dating,
Yeah.
so, but you probably have met them in some way and somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about just chin people, but like overall. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dating.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good for now. If we keep talking, I think we're gonna pass over time. But
Yes.
35 minutes to 45 minutes is
35 minutes.
our time frame. So, thank you for tuning in. I
Yep.
think we have a lot more to explore. Even, what the Bible would say, tell us about it, how to pursue dating in terms of principles. I think we can talk more about that too. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just comment below.
Let us know. Comment below. Comment below.
Yeah, how do those influencers say, like and subscribe?
Yeah, like and subscribe. If you have any questions or any topics that you want us to talk about, of course, we're not, I would say experts in those topics. We may not be, but as I already said, we want to explore and have conversation with you and a heart-to-heart conversation. So if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, please let us know.